Hi, everybody. Welcome to the QB School NFL Week 2 vlog number 3. Pretty excited. Love the format. Love the interaction going back and forth. This will be a good one. Got some good questions. Might throw in a little teaser at the end to a little video breakdown. Niners going off. Got one of my favorite Kyle Shanahan plays from the weekend. So stick around for that. Otherwise, let's get into the questions. Thanks so much for coming to the QB School. Let's get it going. All right, first up, B. Weber, 1226. Been searching for this level of content and film breakdown for months now. This is wonderful stuff. Website looks nice and clean too. Can't wait to see more. Can you talk about sightlines and what exactly QBs are looking at in DBs when they go to throw? It's a good question. So, a lot to digest there. Sightlines. First things first, the most important thing, especially as we see guys get smaller in the league, and we're talking about NFL level football here, is that it's all anticipation. So very rarely are you ever looking directly through a bunch of big offensive linemen. First of all, guys have splits, wide splits. Splits are getting wider nowadays for offensive linemen. It creates better throwing lanes. But again, oftentimes many of your reads and decisions are pre-snap. So you're pre-snap looking at certain keys, safeties, corner alignment, linebacker alignment, different sets like that where their eyes are at. And we'll get into that. But then once the play starts, these big guys stand up, all of a sudden there's a little wall. Well, in reality, you've already made your decision about where you're looking, or at least where you're starting, and then you're looking for confirmation. Yes, it's what I see. Yes, I can verify that's where I need to go. Yes to number one. No to number one. Yes to number two. So you're not really staring through guys. And that's why I think it's always strange that height has been such an issue for so long. Nowadays, the game is wider, so they're covering the full width of the field. So those throwing lanes are even more open. And so what I mean by that is most of the decision-making happens before the snap. So pre-snap kind of clues and cues. And then from there, post-snap, you're really just verifying. Yes, it is, or no, it's not. And if it's not, you need to know exactly where to go next. And so that's where the decision-making and quickness in the pocket really comes to fruition. So you see a guy like Tom Brady get the ball out of his hands so quick. That's because he's so good pre-snap, and they have a scheme matched with what he does, being able to get the ball out of his hands really quickly, not get hit. And so that's the first thing about sightlines. Most sightlines happen before the pre-snap. And then when you actually go to throw, very rarely are you waiting and throwing through kind of a window. You're basically throwing with anticipation. Sometimes in play action, you'll be able to shuffle, step up into a window where guys have been ejected and there's a huge throwing lane. But consistently from the pocket, that's not really the quarterback's job. The offensive linemen need to pass protect, keep guys' hands down, and then you need to throw with anticipation through the defensive covers, not necessarily from the line of scrimmage. And then as far as what you're looking at from a DB, oftentimes, I actually had a coach say once, soft focus on color, hyper focus on accuracy. And I think this was in a game or in a practice, and I had no idea what he's talking about. And I still don't know what he's talking about. The thing about what you look for DBs are just clues, confirmation clues. Is it man or zone? Can I tell for sure? If it's bump, is he bailing, or is he trying to jack our wide receiver at the line of scrimmage, running with him in his hip? Is it man or zone is really all I want to know, because then it dictates where my eyes need to be and who I need to be keen. Because if it's man, I don't really need to pump fake something or look at him. He's not looking at me. The corner's not looking at me. I can play the middle field player and keep him off the route. If it's zone, I got to be really conscious of where my eyes are, because everyone's reading my eyes. But with that, you can manipulate people. So if I want to throw to my left, my helmet can be over here, but my eyes can be over here, and I can come back and look. Now, I'm not going to do a no-look pass, but I'm sure going to look off and come back, and that's not that hard. Look this way and look this way. You can still look this way, but my helmet is looking this way. So that's what really you look for when you start talking about what you're going to look for in a DB. You're very rarely going out there looking directly at the corner saying, okay, what is he doing? It's more about, okay, he's up. Is it man or zone? Can I tell? Can I get a confirmation at the snap? I think it's man. Confirmed it's man. Okay, go through my man reads. It's that kind of decision-making process. So it's not like you stare at this person and say, is it man? What is this DB doing? It's you get a clue from the shell, meaning the safeties, middle field open, middle field closed. Is it man or zone? Can you tell by the corners? Can you tell by the inside linebackers? Linebackers oftentimes give it away better than corners because they're not as schooled up about trying to hide stuff. So if it's man, they're looking right at the tight end, just ready to jack him, or looking at the slot or the back. You can tell by linebackers if they're offset because the backs are offset. There's a good chance it's man as opposed to lined up in their gap for run fits in a zone scheme. So little clues like that, but really when you're playing and it's going really fast, it's where are the safeties? Is it middle field open? Is it middle field closed? If it's middle field open, do I know the percentages of man to zone? So do they play 2-man? Do they play quarters match? Is there a man principles built into their core concepts of what they are as a defense? Or if they're middle field closed, are they a middle field closed cover 3 team, zone team, or a middle field closed cover 1 team? Going to play man and try to jack us at the line of scrimmage, just think they're better athletes. So little clues like that, that integrates your pre-snap film study, not pre-snap, pre-game film study, and then in-game adjustments. That's the thing that really separates play callers, and we'll talk more about play callers later in the video, but separates play callers from just average coaches. It's the guys that can make adjustments in-game, second half adjustments. And so stuff like that, I think, is the real nuance and intricacy of high-level quarterbacking. So great question. See the next one here. So we're on to number 2, Rockwell. I have a son playing QB for the first time this year. One thing that seems to frustrate him, luckily it's only one thing, is his coach telling him who to pass to pre-snap. Often he has other players that are open, who he wants to pass to, but he feels forbidden from trying. What advice or insight could I share with my son so he can make sense of what is being asked of him? This is a tricky one. Okay, so I've had offensive coordinators, quarterback coaches stand right behind the quarterback, right behind me in practice and yell who to throw to and basically go through the reads and say, Charlie, Charlie, whatever, Bob, Bob. And it's frustrating, no doubt about it. But at the same time, they're trying to make you better. They're trying to get you, the quarterback, your son, to understand what they're trying to do with the intent of the play. And are there other people open sometimes? Yeah, there are other people open, but that might not be the intent of the play. So my advice would be to be as coachable as possible. Yes, coaches don't know everything, and I'm sure that this coach knows that too. But they're trying to make your son play at the highest level possible for the best interest of the team. And even if you and your son disagrees that what they say is best, it's almost better to gain the trust of the coach to say, okay, he knows what I want, and he can go out there and improvise or find other guys that are even more open than where the design of the play is. But first, you got to gain the trust of the coach by doing exactly what they say all the time. And so if you can't get frustrated about being coached. I mean, that's just one of those things, especially if you play quarterback. You got to have thick skin. You got to embrace that kind of coaching, understand that they want the best out of you, ask them to kind of, the other thing that I would say is, that coach isn't going to be out there on the field. So if they're trying to create the most in-game like experience for their quarterback, maybe say like, hey coach, this drill, can we pretend like this is a game and you be on the sideline and we go through the huddle process or the line of scrimmage process like a real game? Because that's really what I want to work on as a quarterback. So I could see saying that too, but I would really just embrace it, gain the trust of the coach, understand exactly what they're trying to do with the play, and then go from there. Because once they gain the trust that the quarterback knows exactly what he's supposed to do, he or she is supposed to do with the ball, then they have other things to worry about. They don't want to be worrying about what the quarterback's read is if they're going to throw it to the right person. Trust me, you don't want to worry about that as a coach. You want to trust your quarterback, know exactly that they know what to do with every single play. So hopefully that works. A little bit of advice for you. Next, Marcus Martinez. Hey JT. Hi JT. I want to ask which are, in your opinion, the most important QB fundamentals and which drills are best to drill them? Thanks. Great question, Marcus. So there's a bunch of them out there, and they're all over YouTube, and there's a bunch of great stuff. I love watching my son. I got a 9-year-old. He actually loves watching a bunch of quarterback stuff on YouTube. Elite 11 stuff has great stuff out there. There's a bunch of gurus or pseudo gurus out there that have all sorts of great drills. I think that there's a number of ways you can go right here. For me personally, I think about quarterbacking from the ground up. And I think anybody who knows anything at a high level will tell you this exact same thing. You play quarterback from the ground up, starting with your feet. So the most important drills for me will always be footwork centric. And so we're looking to emphasize exactly what you're being asked to do in your system. There's no reason for you to work quarterback drills that I might run that have nothing to do with your system. So it's about integrating what your coach or coaches is asking you to do from the quarterback position, from the pocket, outside the pocket, on the move, with reads, with the footwork, and drilling the footwork over and over and over. Now, there are some core principles that go into playing quarterback from the ground up, and I think many people get these things wrong, but they're not by any means rock solid must do. I mean, you look around guys in the league like Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, they're going to not do what I'm going to tell you to do. But guys who do it consistently at a high level for a really long time will do this. And what I mean by that is you want all your cleats in the ground when you throw, all of them. You don't want to be super toesy because it creates these angles where the ball, your shoulders, eye level change all the time, and you're not able to be consistent. You would create the most consistent, powerful platform to throw at all times. So I'm doing a right-handed quarterback. You want your cleats in the ground, just like you're a pitcher or a batter or a golfer. You want to be able to be lined up where you're going into your target with your feet, be able to create the most consistent base and powerful base possible. You don't squat on your toes. You don't hit on your toes. Okay, all those things. You want to create a powerful throwing position from the ground up that can be as consistent and repeatable as possible. So those are the most important things for me. So I'm always trying to drill footwork. What am I like at the top of my drop? Whether it's a 3-step drop, 1-step drop, 7-step drop, play action, move the pocket. When we go to throw, our throwing position, our launch point, our base is going to be as consistent as possible. And so that's the most important thing for me. And then from there, it goes from all over the place, from stride to ball release to ball carriage to arm action, which is beyond the scope of this kind of video. But for me, the most important drills will always be footwork-centric drills. So hopefully that helps. All right, Clint Westwood. How much of being able to play well as a QB is pure athleticism, and how much is the ability to read defenses? I have a feeling that only few QBs are elite in both. While it seems easier to survive with average athleticism, but great ability to read defenses in the NFL. Could you elaborate a bit on this topic? Well, first of all, Clint, let me tell you that most people who are in the NFL, even punters and kickers, are elite athletes. Now, to separate yourself and say you are elite at the elite level, yeah, it's rare on many levels. But I mean, you talk about I've been around guys who are elite athletes that probably wouldn't be tethered as elite athletes in this question's context. What I mean by that is guys like Alex Smith, some of the fastest guys in the program when I was with him with the Niners, most, unbelievable cardio, dynamic, explosive athlete. Now, sure, age and all sorts of different things have weighed down on where that's at right now. But to think that some of these guys aren't elite just because they're not Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers is probably not really understanding what elite means. Now, to separate yourself as elite on an NFL team, NFL field, yeah, there are only a few, no doubt about it. But really, it seems like there are more growing that. And I think it starts with at the youth levels of football where people now are saying, hey, I don't have to be the tailback if I'm the most athletic guy. I can play quarterback. I don't have to be a wide receiver and DB. I can play quarterback and all those things and still get the rock, still be explosive. So people are starting to put their best players at quarterback. And I think that will start to change the evolution of the position as we start going forward with football. But as far as what's the most important, is it more important to be athletic versus being able to read defenses? This is not going to be a great answer for you. It's always going to be both, right? And I think as you age and evolve in your professional career as a quarterback, the reading defenses and understanding what's going on the other side of the ball comes because of a number of different reasons. One, you're around it more, you see it more, mental reps, physical reps, all those things. You are integrated into high-level football at the highest level all the time. So you just become better, even if you're not trying, you're around it all the time. But then you're just coached at a higher level for a longer amount of years with different opinions and minds. People move in and out of staff, so you get to hear different kind of philosophies about football, and that will only add to your knowledge if you're playing quarterback. So I think as you age as a professional quarterback, your ability to read defenses really becomes pretty great pretty fast. And so oftentimes I remember being in the quarterback room and the quarterback coach might not have even played quarterback and might not have been in the league as long as I've been playing quarterback and in the league. And so they still have a number of things to offer you. They can bring a different perspective. And so being able to just continue to grow that knowledge base, I think helps a lot of older quarterbacks in the league and guys who embrace learning and wanting to know about ball and all those things. I think it just gets better and better the longer you do it, and you've been able to see it, identify it, just like anything. The more you do it, the more you play a video game, the better you're going to be at it. The more you coach youth t-ball, the better you're going to be at it. And so now, sure, is there a point of diminishing returns? Absolutely. But I think to tether them separate completely, like would you rather have athletic or the capacity to read defenses? You need both to be able to do it at a high level for a long time. And so I think as they're kind of go in different directions. So you come into the league probably as athletic as you'll ever be. and your ability to read defenses are at the lowest point. And then as you exit the league, you're able to read defenses at the highest point, and your athleticism is at the lowest point. And so finding that sweet spot, that high point of your career, and being able to stretch that as long as possible is probably the key to why so many guys are able to play really well in that midsection of their career. So hopefully that makes sense for you. All right, next, I'm going to give you a little nugget here. We're going to do a little film breakdown, 49ers, my favorite videos from the weekend. Love this play from Kyle Shanahan. Jump into it here. Great play action fake. Just a great call. High red zone. Love these type of throws where you're taking shots into the end zone. Beautiful play design from the 49ers. We'll break it down from the all 22, but just appreciate the nuance of how you get guys wide open in the league. I mean, it's a hard thing to do. Kyle Shanahan, a handful of other guys have been doing it at a really high level these last few years. This will be a fun one to break down because it's about timing, intersection, setting things up, and then just out scheming people. Smoke and mirrors and getting them going. Here's the all 22. We're going to watch that little undergo. He's an up top slot receiver right here. He's going to be able to basically sneak out of here and come out of here. Man, what's going on here? So the slot receiver right here is going to come right down the line of scrimmage and then sneak out. This is the under part of it. And then this is the go part of it, right up the seam. And all these defenders are going to flow this way. It's a great little trick motion here. We're going to come back, set it back here. Everything's going this way. We're going to set the boot off of it over here. And then we're just going to sneak out the other side. And just beautiful play design. Love this area of the field to call these type of plays too. Just gorgeous design. Able to come out and hit it right here. We'll see exactly what we got. So there it is. We're faking the zone coming out. Got the over coming. Got the corner coming. And there goes that undergo. Corner falls down too. You got to love that. You know he's going to be locked on. Their tight end. There it is. The free safety drives it, and it's wide open. So again, the guys that really make this play for the defense, the guys that you're most nervous about here are going to be the free safety back here in the middle of the field and this corner. So if he falls off, you'd be in trouble. If he stays back, you'd be in trouble. But because they're so locked into Kittle coming across running this over, you basically get a double team. Jacked, he falls, he's trailing. Now we get a driver right here, down here, and then we're going to sneak out the other side on the undergo. And it's just a beautiful play design. Really loved it. It was great, especially early in the game, be able to gap someone and trick them wide open. And beautiful throw right from the 50, 35 yards in the air, wide open, no one around him. Just absolutely gorgeous design. So that was my favorite play call from the weekend. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Let me know what else you want to see vlog-wise. Hit me with some questions. Go for the interaction back and forth. I appreciate it.